A Washington, D.C. Episcopal bishop says she won't apologize for calling on President Trump to show mercy to immigrants and transgender people. And Trump questioned FEMA's future in a Fox News interview last night. Good morning, I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. President Trump has directed the Pentagon to send 1,500 additional U.S. troops to the southern border. NPR's Quill Lawrence reports they'll support Border Patrol and National Guard troops who are already deployed there.
A Pentagon statement announced that the ground personnel will support operations along the border with Mexico, as well as helicopters and intelligence analysts to support detection and monitoring efforts. The statement said military airlift may also be used for deportation flights of more than 5,000 people detained by Customs and Border Protection near San Diego, California, and El Paso, Texas. Troops will also assist in the construction of barriers to stop illegal border crossings and smuggling, and the Pentagon said additional deployments are expected. Both President Biden and President Trump during his first term sent active duty troops to the border. Quill Lawrence, NPR News.
President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, says deportation actions are underway. These are supposed to focus on migrants considered a public safety threat. There is no word of a large immigration enforcement action. Homan is warning migrants in the U.S. illegally could also be arrested. NPR's Jasmine Garz reports from Chicago. Sanctuary jurisdictions like the Illinois city are waiting to see what happens next.
In Chicago's Little Village neighborhood, in a restaurant on the main street, every time someone opens the door, a waitress named Caridad looks up in fear.
Yo tengo miedo.
She says she worries that it's immigration agents. Caridad doesn't want her last name used. She's in the U.S. without legal status. The potential raids have turned this immigrant neighborhood into a ghost town. People staying home out of fear. Earlier this week, Mayor Brandon Johnson told NPR the city will stand by its sanctuary policies, which prohibit Chicago police from enforcing immigration law. Jasmine Garst, NPR News, Chicago.
The Episcopal Bishop of Washington, D.C. says she's continuing to ask Trump's administration to show compassion toward vulnerable people. Bishop Marian Edgar Buddy gave a sermon Tuesday attended by Trump. She says she asked him to show mercy to people who include immigrants and transgender people. Trump later castigated the bishop, calling her insulting names and demanding an apology. Buddy says she was speaking to the unity of the country.
I don't feel the need to apologize. I regret it was something that has caused the kind of response that it has, in the sense that it actually confirmed the very thing that I was speaking of earlier, which is our tendency to jump to outrage and not speak to one another with respect. But no, I won't apologize.
She spoke to NPR's All Things Considered. President Trump continues to defend his pardons of about 1,500 January 6th rioters. He falsely claims those who were convicted were innocent. Some of the rioters were convicted for very violent attacks on police officers. One former officer says he's been betrayed by his country. NPR's Odette Youssef says among those who have been freed by Trump are the leaders of two far-right extremist groups.
Enrique Tarrio of the Proud Boys said that success during this administration will be, quote, retribution. And the former Oath Keepers leader, Stuart Rhodes, also said he's expecting the administration to exact, quote, payback for his and others' prosecutions. Those two groups, they've both changed a lot in the last 4 years. They're weaker, they're less centralized, but now they're experiencing a boost, and even other groups are emboldened.
NPR's Odette Youssef reporting. President Trump was interviewed on Fox News last night. He's questioning the future of the Federal Emergency Management Agency and what might happen to California's request for fire disaster relief aid. Trump is claiming that Democrats have mismanaged FEMA.
FEMA is going to be a whole big discussion very shortly, because I'd rather see the states take care of their own problems.
He did say that the federal government could help states with money in disaster, but Trump claims FEMA gets in the way. FEMA previously had run a site that debunked false claims about the agency's disaster relief efforts. The president's remarks come as new wildfires break out north of Los Angeles. The Hughes fire that started yesterday has scorched 15 square miles in less than a day. Police in Nashville are investigating a deadly school shooting yesterday at a city high school. They say a male student shot and killed a female student and then wounded another male student. He then apparently shot and killed himself. Nashville authorities have not disclosed a motive for the attack. They say they're investigating disturbing online writings. Investigators in South Korea have turned over impeached President Yoon Song-yeol to prosecutors. They're seeking his indictment on insurrection charges. NPR's Anthony Kuhn reports from Seoul that Yoon has been in detention for 8 days.
Yoon has refused to answer anti-corruption investigators' questions and argues that they have no authority to investigate cases involving insurrection. Investigators say they've secured evidence that Yoon committed insurrection by deploying special forces to Parliament and ordering them to arrest lawmakers. Yoon denies this, but military and intelligence officials say they received these orders directly from Yoon and then disobeyed them. Only prosecutors can indict Yoon, which they're expected to do early next month. Meanwhile, a constitutional court trial is in progress, which will decide whether to uphold or overturn Yoon's impeachment by Parliament. Anthony Kuhn, NPR News, Seoul.
I'm Corva Coleman, NPR News.